This is the grand finals, elimination game 6 of the top 4 bracket for the Get Your Game On Store Championship on February 20th. Kala Ghoda was the last legal pack, and we have the most wanted list in effect since it's past February 1st. On the left we have Stephen playing Kate Mac McCaffrey. Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
And on the right we have Ryan playing Blue Sun. All right, and Brian starts off. So what are you trying to do with this one? I guess you were in a few of the earlier games on the stream anyway. You want to talk a little bit more about your deck and maybe your game plan against Kate?
Sure. So this was a deck I affectionately, very loosely used there, called Little Kid Wayland. Basically, it's mid-season Scorched Earth, packing 3 traffic accidents and 3 Scorched Earths and 2 mid-season replacements for maximum punishment, thinking that might be useful in a Faust metagame. Of course, the problem being that if I can't find one of those mid-season replacements before I've lost 3 of my agendas, which I think were all hostiles and 2-pointers, then of course I can't actually kill them and have to go with the scoring plan with no ashes. So.
Right. Although, yeah, it looks like, at least for this store championship, no Anarchs made the top 4 cut. So it kind of did work out to have Wayland kind of hate out the Anarchs, but at least your Haley deck and I believe this Kate deck also did have Faust, so it didn't quite eliminate that threat.
Yeah, and in practice what happened was my Haley deck carried this deck to the top. So I don't even remember what my record was other than abysmal with Blue Sun. So I'm not feeling confident into this matchup.
And it looks like Steven got an early Plascrete, and it looks like you're probably saying I have the mid-season, so I'm going to see if you can get this Oaktown, and if not, just score and get money at the same time.
The thing here is that I actually think I have no way to even get a breaker. So I see that he doesn't have a particularly high amount of money, or he wouldn't be able to land a good mid-seasons on me. So I go for go to score it, but I actually have no way to get a breaker for it. So he scores it out regardless.
Yeah, that's my thinking. Is I don't see an SMC. He doesn't have a ton of money. Might as well try rushing.
Makes sense. Yeah, you're right. He did have a bit of money there. It looks like he had 9 or 10 credits. To your just a 7, I think, after the score. So yeah, it wouldn't have been a big mid-season if he did manage to get in. But I guess the cost of SMC and if he didn't already have it on the board, he wouldn't get his Kate discount because he has to install the SMC first. So he still would have been far behind money-wise at that point, and you could always bounce back that Enigma. So it's a pretty smart play, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the logic of playing mid-seasons in Blue Sun, was just the fact that figuratively the Blue Sun player doesn't have to spend money on anything except for, I guess, installing additional pieces of ice. Of course, again, that doesn't necessarily work quite as well in practice, but definitely in theory, showing the rush potential.
Drawing a lot of cards here. Unfortunately, did not draw Proco turn 1, and I still haven't found it, so I'm significantly richer than I otherwise could be at this point, or significantly less rich than I could be.
Right.
I'm also looking for, I think, any SMC, which I haven't found yet.
Yeah, it's just basically any kind of breaker. If you can get your...
So I can at least threaten the next scoring attempt.
And he has an Enigma, so just kind of a decoder would just be great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he's trying that same play again. Let's see what he's put there. All right, you got at least have a quality time, so got some good shots at getting something.
Although the quality time costing 3 is also unfortunate because
Right.
it puts me significantly farther behind in money.
Yeah, this isn't the prepaid version because that's been tough with the most wanted list. So you just have daily cast and pro code, which you didn't get, and I'm not even sure if you're running any lucky finds. And
no, it's just sure gambles and dirty laundries. Other than that, so not a huge amount of burst money if you don't draw the Proco.
Right. You do run hyperdriver, so that helps if you have the Proco out to just advance your board state and get a lot of money in the process. To see a lot of options off of drawing.
Yep. I think at this point I still don't have an SMC. So even if I wanted to go score this and risk the mid-seasons, I don't think I actually could. So I just decided to play Proco and Hyperdriver and get a big turn next turn to set up.
Right. So Ryan gets a good fast start, up 4 points, and making money in the process.
And I'm pretty concerned at this point now that he's already on 4 points. So even if he can mid-season, I really don't have a choice but to steal probably the next agenda.
Right. How are you feeling at this spot, Ryan? Being up 4 points against this.
I'm not sure, honestly. I definitely saw one traffic accident, so feeling a little positive in that respect. The big problem that Plascrete sets up, of course, is that I need to then mid-season on one turn and kill him on another, which means I need at least 6 credits built up on top of however many tags I needed to land for the mid-seasons. And on top of that, giving him potentially a window to try and score out after I land those tags. So I'm definitely, feeling more positive than I have any right to be, but I know his economy is about to just jump into second gear with the professional contacts, so I know I can't sit back too long.
Especially if he's taking 7 clicks for some of these turns.
Exactly.
Have you had mid-seasons in hand this whole time?
I actually don't remember if I did or not. It might be. I know at this point you knew what my deck was, so I think I might have been bluffing it out with some of those fast advances.
All right, and another rush attempt.
Yeah, my guess is this is a Project Atlas I'm trying to get a single advancement on just to ensure that I have all the kill pieces. But this seems a little greedy at this point, because he's got the Procon engine going, he's got 3 clone chips. Odds are good that he's going to find he has an SMC right there. So I feel like this might be an attempt to try and get a mid-season, but I actually don't know if I have one or not. And it definitely seems a little difficult to say I'm going to be able to ensure I have enough money to actually land the tags afterward.
And I think for me, I don't really have much of a choice but to just go to seal this regardless of whether I get mid-seasoned, because being on 6 points with an Atlas counter is a pretty terrible position for me to be in, although it looks like that was a corporate war instead. Yes,
it was. Since this was immediately before Business First made that card absolutely obsolete.
Right.
I think actually getting this Mimic here is probably a mistake. I think I probably should have just paid through the Caduceus Traces. It's a lot more expensive to actually get on Mimic.
Yeah.
And this daily cast... Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, now I can take the Caduceus and throw it away, because it's never going to do anything again. And you've basically lost 2 credits in that respect.
Yep. But, this daily cast was also definitely a mistake. There's really no reason to...
Right. Yeah, you're just going down.
Right before I'm likely going to get mid-season here.
Yep, lo and behold.
Yeah, and that's a easy target to set you back is that daily cast and probably that Proco at some point.
Yep.
The one problem I'm facing is it looks like I only have enough money to potentially. Well, I have enough money to stick in with tons of tags. I'm wrong. Yeah, so this is going to be a Trace 12. It looks like trying to stick 4 tags, which seems like playing decks like this. It's always a bit of a tussle. How much money is too much money? How many tags is he just going to say? Well, I'm going to tag me, and in fact, Steve is 4. It looks like was the right number because Steve's just going to take all those tags.
I'm usually a fan of paying off mid-seasons if it's even close like that, but even if I, take 4 tags and then click for credits over a few turns, my entire engine is going to get trashed, and I have, no economy likely for the rest of the game. So
yeah, exactly. You do definitely lose the full daily cast, the pro con. That would just be abysmal.
So I'd rather just keep the 9 I have right now and see what I can do.
So now things are going great for me. I just need to basically dig through my deck to find 2 more Scorches to go with that traffic accident I know I have.
And I'm just going to attack R&D as hard as I can here and try to win before you can burn through the Plascrete.
Yep.
And that's the world's saddest hive with just 1 and the run routine. Just a glorified wall stack.
That is a hive that is very quickly going to be fired from its job.
Right.
I still have the moment of panic when I see hive and think about what a pain it is to get through, and then I realize you have 4 points, and that is significantly less of a pain.
Had anything like Archer to try and... Well, I might have had maybe 1 Archer, but not many significant solutions to the problem of how do I make my ice not totally worthless into the mid and late game. Which I suppose doesn't matter much because he also has a sharpshooter, but...
Right.
So whiff on the Maker's Eye, just go for a legwork while you're low on money here so I can get... don't have to deal with that ice.
Yep.
And you're seeing...
Traffic Scorch. Fun times.
So if I don't die here, I know all that is needed is the last Scorch. And I'm done. Which I don't believe I saw on that Maker's Eye, so at least I have a few more turns.
Yeah, I definitely only had 8 damage at that point. And honestly, one thing I should be considering is maybe even firing one of the traffic accidents in the hopes that Steve will make a mistake and take the damage to his Plascrete, or at the very least set him back a couple of turns, a couple of clicks of redraws. But at this point, I'm just desperately looking for anything to keep control of our R&D, because of course he has a same old Maker's Eye ready to go.
I think maybe the problem is you don't have a huge amount of money here, because trashing any of these things would be pretty good to do, but at 6 credits it's pretty tight to manage to do that.
Yeah, I could see an argument for trashing the same old thing, because of course this is exactly what's going to happen. But I think I was just figuring, and this might be the same thing as what happened in my runner game, just assuming I'm so close to winning that I don't need to take the precautions.
This is the lesson, folks. Just pay attention to your fundamentals.
Here's our Lord and Savior, Christ. But again, it looks like I'm not finding any ice that I actually want to put in front of R&D. He only has 3 credits, it looks like. So any piece of ice, really, that is not Hive would be...
You do have that Caduceus, which you can break for 2, but still something.
Yeah, and it might well be that's one of those many, many cards that's now face down in my bin.
Right. It looked like you did draw through 3 traffic accidents, at least last turn, and I think you also had a Jackson since last turn, so maybe the one play could be just fire off all 3 of them for 0 credits and shuffle them in as you're looking for your last, or for another Scorch.
Exactly, that would have been a very valid strategy, and I think that was something that we talked about the day of. It looks like now I'm probably just trying to filter agendas out, or rather back in.
Yeah, I have an indexing in hand here, which I'm planning to go for.
Right.
Both to get agendas, of course, but also if there's a Scorch, I can move it down to delay it as long as possible, assuming you haven't already seen it on that Jackson draw.
Exactly.
And you're shuffling back the only piece of ice that doesn't have an answer for right now. by putting in the Enigma again.
Yeah, although we can see a Faust in his hands, so
Right.
any piece of ice really I throw down is only going to be a temporary solution, except for, I guess, I don't know, Orion can be broken by Sharpshooter. I guess I have one Curtain Wall. This was back in when Ben Bloom was really pushing one Curtain Wall, 2 Orions in Glacier Blue Sun, and I sort of borrowed that same model, but we can see the downside of that being that it's not exactly a gigantic barrier most of the time.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a third click indexing here. So even if there were 2 points, or 2 agendas there, I wouldn't be able to take them. But I think there was only 1 agenda in the stack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like you did draw a toll booth, so at least that's significant, and you have the hedge fund to be able to res it. It's not a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely luck out that you didn't draw the Scorch on the Jackson draw you did last turn.
Right.
Yep.
And here I'm just drawing for my last indexing to try to score the last points.
Mm-hmm. Although I think I also see a Notoriety in your hand, and that
Yeah.
might also be an out.
I actually forgot that Notoriety was in this deck until I drew it there, and now I realized that would definitely work.
It's definitely the most ignoble way for a game of Netrunner win. It's like, oh, I guess I just win. Why? Because I'm famous on the internet.
Exactly.
So, when you know the Notoriety is coming, it is the worst feeling ever.
Right. You're like, there's no
Second
face
of
down
all,
cards in
Apocalypse.
archives.
When you know
Yeah.
Apocalypse is coming, that's just sadness incarnate.
When you see them run all 3 servers, you just know something bad is happening.
It's like, wait, I don't have anything in ROK.
All of them are face up. That's you didn't make the misplay. I did.
Here we go. Played Faust last turn, so that way I could get through pretty much anything
Right.
that there is. I choose to get the Cyber Cipher out here to save my cards for whatever the HQ ice is.
Makes sense. Doing some math here, see if you can get through. Nope, nothing.
The saddest hive returns in Sadness 2.
Right. Yeah.
Return of the Sadness.
Right. There's that lone subroutine.
And here we go.
There you go. There's a Notoriety, which did well for you.
Yep, definitely did well this tournament. Bit of a last minute addition of this
Where
deck.
are those Scorch Earth? That's gotta be rough. You're like, I shuffle with Jackson and they're still at the bottom of the deck.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. The perils of playing Scorch decks. That's why I never do it anymore.
Well, it was a lot closer than it looked, and thanks for joining us. This is the last game of the Get Your Game On Store Championship, so thanks a lot, and we'll see you later.